Marks, 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 Super Marks, Marks, Super Marks, Super Marks. Hello, welcome, Satag. Hey, what up? It's been a while. Well, not really a while. It's just been 7 days since we had a cracking of a race on the season, second half of the season in Belgian GP. Now we head into the Dutch GP here in Netherlands for round number 16. I remember the round number. And this is gonna be another cracking race, I hope. One overtaking zone, probably, unless you can make some of your own throughout the rest of the track. Up and down, left and right, like a roller coaster. This is exactly what the Dutch GP, the Zandvoort circuit, is all about. Sartak, how have you been?
Yeah, I was waiting for a question there at the end, but what a start to this stream, considering we are heading to Zandvoort.
Ooh,
But I've been good.
wow. Okay,
I've been
that's a better start as well from the lobby itself. Look at that.
Love it. Love it. At least in the comms box, we'll always love this.
We'll always love it, indeed.
Yeah. Yep. Good fun it's going to be. So clearly, Big Man Joe and Sicknick, for those of you who don't know, it's a home race, and they are looking out their windows and seeing exactly what we are seeing right now. It's raining. It's pouring.
Full wets, yeah, exactly. It's pouring and it doesn't look like it's gonna get any lighter any soon. Sicknick being the first one to go out. Well, I guess everyone would like to go out immediately, get some laps under their belt. Every lap helps in the wet, actually, whether you practice or not. So let's see if someone would like to serve us a little bit of a spin around the track.
I don't think everyone in watching or even getting behind the wheel really want to be served a spin, Davin. But one thing's for sure, we might just see an outlier of a qualifying grid today. Rain does clearly open up an opportunity for some to capitalize on and perhaps qualify on the front couple of rows.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the wets. You may get some surprise qualifiers and some shocks as well. And then the race just opens up a bit more. Some drivers out of position. We're really hoping to see that. In the meantime, I'm just curious to see if drivers are gonna get out. Not many yet. Probably half the grid is just about getting out, assessing the weather condition in their MFD back in the pit garage. Sicknick will be the first one to start his lap around the banking here. Oof. RB Fellow is joined, and that makes us up to 12 drivers for the day. Whoops. Just give me a moment. My keyboard's been bugging out for like the past half an hour.
Yeah, all good. KB's back out on track. RB Ferrello, another driver we enjoy watching climb up the grid more so than not. And because Big Man Joe Sicknick UK has made his fabulous return. Can I say fabulous? He said he's going to be a little bit choppy off the line. Some would argue he's always choppy, but then again, UK this season, early into the season, was actually qualifying time and time again in the top 3. He even finished on the podium multiple times.
And well, UK has always been that one guy who, if there's a surprise top 3 sitter or surprise contender for pole, yeah, that's him. So let's see if he does well in wets. Not sure if he's inherently the go-to guy to performing in the wets, but we will never know. Zandvoort once again serves a treat.
Surely enough, as the rain keeps on coming, at Haas, who's gone into a spin after 2 sectors, lighting up purple for Sicknick, first of the hot runners on a hot lap. And I'm already losing words early into this race with just under 15 minutes left into this short qualifying session. Sicknick will probably be starting another fast lap. We could probably ride on board UK, who just started a fast lap, but Sector 1 lights up yellow briefly, so I'm wondering if he had a tiny little mishap.
Sector 1 yellow, indeed. That was Sicknick, or was that someone else? Well, it's everyone all over the track, and at this point I can't be so sure as well, Sartak.
Yeah, I imagine. But a bunch of lap times coming in. Of course, Siknix won't be his best, I'm sure, after that fumble and his spin. But Dishy, 1 minute 26.014 was temporarily the fastest, let's say, because KDB quickly beat that 1 minute 25.613. All lap times being set on the wet so far. And by the looks of it, they're going to continue setting them on the wets. But who knows? Tail end of qualifying, dry conditions, slicks. We'll find out. Soon enough. Gods puts it third fastest. Would you look at that, Dalvin?
Yeah, not bad for his first attempt on the wets. Like I said, it will take a few laps, probably even 2 or 3 laps, to get your confidence down in these conditions. So lap times are only going to improve from here on out. So I don't think 125 is going to be the fastest yet. We are yet to see the likes of Envy, who is coming around the last 2 corners to set his time. Kubarabi, there you go, 124, immediately beaten by Siknik on a 123.8. Big Man Joe now goes fastest, 23.5, and it's a flurry of fastest lap coming in. And next one to cross the line is Envy. Provisionally, he's only P3. Well, still a long way to go.
Yeah, but it's always unfortunate to see a driver retiring early into qualifying. It looks like Sector 2 has lit up yellow. That's Dylan Toe in the Alpine. On wets, blue on blue. You'd imagine that would be a fair sight.
Ooh.
But it's Alfa Romeo spun at the exact part of the track. Dylan Toe had retired, and that looks like it is Big Man Joe after all. Levi Tiger Pants clearly absent from this race, but that was a close call because just a moment ago, that was an Alpine who retired at the same part of the track.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some mud building up virtually in that part of the track. It is quite sandy in real life around this track. Big Man Joe might have just lost a little bit of traction, got a little bit happy there. Perhaps just pushing that ever bit so more to get some lap time. But nevertheless, 11 minutes to go, almost 12, so there's plenty of time for them to go around, probably even 5 more times. I wonder if intermediates are up for the taking right now. Siknik coming across the final banking and into the pits he will go.
Of course, quickest lap time out there, 1 minute 23.549 from the man who we recently saw take a spin, Big Man Joe. Quickest in his technically home race. And looks like he's going for another lap out there. New fast lap. He just started. Siknik's in the pits, his closest competitor so far. Envy on a fast lap. By the looks of it, just started or no? It's a warm-up.
He's 1.1 second up, and he puts it in P4 right now. Okay, that's a massive improvement for Dishy to go within a second of the fastest lap, improving almost 2 seconds from his best time there. So yeah, lap times are starting to come down even more. Next to come across the line would be KDB. No, that is Gouts around the banking, and he will be pulling into the pits. Oh, Gouts, careful there, sir. Wow, all right, Gouts.
Yeah.
Mind that gap, sir. Mind that gap.
Yeah, no front wing for Guts, but thankfully he was already headed into the pits. But those fumbles you can't afford to have come the race itself. Now, I was thinking about what you said about Dishy and his improvement in lap time, but we've seen this from Dishy on more than one occasion. I believe it was back in Baku, if I got that right. He managed to qualify in the top 5, or even in his first outing, he managed to put it in the top 5. And at race start, somehow he is strong. But if there's one driver who's strong in the Bwoah Racing League, it's Envy, and he just set the fastest lap time. The lap time to be beaten.
Almost 3/10 up on his previous best, considering the conditions are getting, well, it looks like less rain right now out on track, or perhaps just confidence starting to build up. Still too early to say anything. It might even dry up at the end and we might just get one run of softs. One might hope for that. There's another driver spinning in the middle sector, and that looks like the Williams of UK. Yes, front wing UK. It's missing again.
Early into a race or session. Either way, let's shift our topic to a bit more. Shift our concentration to a bit more light-hearted conversation. Dylan has graciously come into chat on the live stream and mentioned why he spun. Turns out he was on a fast lap and his dad just showed up into the room and asked him if he made a baby today. I'm confused, but
Oh my goodness.
all right, Dylan. I
Okay.
guess it's an opportunity. Maybe your dad opened up an opportunity for you last to first. So at least knowing how Zandvoort ended up last season and the season before, I like to think it really is a proper opportunity here today in the race for Dylan.
Yeah, I almost spit my tea over there, Sarthak. So thank you for that fun fact. And while that was happening, Mr. Wax gave us a little sideways action down into turn 7, the end of sector 1 as well. So I'm assuming he's gonna be heading back into the pits. Not many drivers are on track just yet. Dishy coming across the line once again, and he improves only by 17 thousandths. Keeps him in P5. Streeter just a while ago set a faster lap, now 1.1 behind Envy, so still plenty of time to find.
Yeah, Envy is clearly trying to understand the track a bit more well in the current conditions. He's been on the same set of wets he set the fastest lap time on.
Oh,
And yeah,
here's
he's
a contender
probably
for a pole once again today. Sarthak Signing across the final bend. 3 tenths up in sector 2. Across the line. Oh, very close there. Just 2 tenths to pole position. And he is on the front row for now.
Trump's big man Joe, however, so he'll get second fastest so far. Streeter manages to trump Dishy. Dishy and Streeter have been coming close to each other on the racetrack on more than one occasion, last race and the race before as well. So hopefully they have a relatively distant race between the two going into this one. But Kubra be in the top 6. Would you look at that, Davin? That's a sight I like to see.
Indeed, and I mean, well, I don't want to jinx anything just yet. Well, RB Farlow, hold that thought. Well, goes on to the second row for now. Okay, that is a good lap from RB Farlow as well. Yeah, Kubarabi, back to him. It's amazing to see both the Haas drivers putting in some good lap times in qualifying, getting themselves in a much nicer position to start the race with. But racecraft and luck as well doesn't seem to be on their side for now. Streeter, next one to fall victim to the track. As you can see on the background from RB Farlow's view, Streeter might have just lost it on the entry into turn 7. So that's Streeter's qualifying over. P6 will be the best he could afford right now.
Got both the Alpines retiring from the qualifying session just like that. Streeter's lap time gives him 6th fastest. Maybe he'll hold on to it or barely, hold on to it come the end of qualifying session. We're just under 6 minutes left into the short qualifying. Envy 6th fastest and in the pits. Sickning's out there on track. Big man Joe as well. RB Ferrello, Dishy, 2 Alpha Tauris in the top 5. Followed by Kubarabi, Gouts, and just like that, Big man Joe lights everything up purple.
You know, Sarthak, I caught a glimpse of Envy going half a second quicker by the end of sector 2 and he pulled into the pits. So I wonder if he's running low on fuel or if that's time for the intermediates right now. So a lot of drivers are into the pits. Yeah, everyone's heading in the pits. Dish is in, RB Fellows in. Next would be the other half of Kubarabi. He goes to start another lap. Okay, let's ride on board with him for once and see how does it do it. Into turn 1 here. You want to keep it tight, carry some apex speed as well, but at the same time you want to let the car run wide on the exit. And then this is the tricky section, the banking. First of the 2 bankings on the track. Keep it tight, let it run wide on the exit. And it's a long flat out run all the way down to turn 7, the end of sector 1. And here you go, downhill. Sector 2 comes right ahead, and in the dries it's almost easy flat, but in the wets, as you can see, so tentative on the throttle and not touching the curbs at all, as they will spin you out. And coming towards the middle part of the middle sector, and flick the car left, and then the first DRS zone of the circuit, a short one, but nevertheless helps you with a 10th or 2 of lap time towards the end of sector 2 here, and then a chicane. Again, you want to keep it tight on the inside, let it run wide on the exit. Very, very tentative on the traction once again. And then here is where you can make or break the lap time. Do not run too wide on that exit curb. Keeps it nice. In the dries, in the intermediates, it's going to be easy flight, but in the wets, as you can see, oh, a little bit of a squiggle there. Across the line, Kubarabi. What is he going to do? It is a 23.5. He shares the second row with his teammate for now.
Yeah, I was on board. Big man Joe, who was trying to get back into the pits, had a fumble there and almost went into the wall, or actually did, but regardless, headed into the pits. Probably right on board Envy. Seems like he's starting a fast lap of his own.
Yeah, still on the wet tires, so I'm assuming that's going to be the weather for the rest of the session. Indeed, probably a fresh one. Gives you a bit more time to, a bit more lap time out of the fresher tires, and probably some less fuel load to go with it. So sector 1, once again, nicely done, keeping it tight as you should. Oh, that's not clean, and we had a little fumble there, and that would be a lap abandoned most likely. Or maybe not, he's just matching his personal best through sector 1.
But he's clearly lifting off. Yeah, for sure. He's just backing off from that one. I did see a McLaren heading out track, so I reckon that is Gouts indeed, and KDB was heading back into the pits. The Williams of UK and Mr. Wex. Mr. Wex has considerably had an average, let's say, an average experience in Bwoah Racing League this season. We haven't seen him consistently in the top 5 as he was last season and the season before. UK had that high moment early into the season, like I mentioned earlier. Can he bring it out here today around Zandvoort? They're currently sitting 10th fastest and 11th fastest, so things are not looking up for now as it stands.
Yeah, and I'm currently having my eyes on the sole Red Bull driver out on track, probably representing Max Verstappen in real life. Ashley now starting his lap time, possibly his one and only timed lap of the session. Gambler, who's, well, the other Red Bull who has just joined, I don't think he'll be having any time to start a lap time either. He's still in the pit, so there'll be one Red Bull at the end. Will there be a Red Bull on the front of the grid? It's a question remaining to be answered in 2 minutes time. Gouts has retired, so that's him into the pits. Don't tell me he's crashed in the pit lane. Oh no.
Well, one would say he might as well get it over with in qualifying rather than in the race, but that's just one, or me. But regardless, 3 retirements in the qualifying session so far. Big man Joe fastest. You reckon Envy can beat that lap time, Davin?
He was improving, but it's gonna take a bit of an effort here. You don't want to push too much. Kubarabi is hitting into the pits already. I'm assuming he's not gonna improve. Next to cross the line, RB Farlow. No, it's not RB Farlow, it's Dishy. Will come across the line and into the pits he goes. Not improving as well. Envy, 8 tenths up. This is looking ominous. This is looking like a solid pole lap. Cross the line, what's it gonna be? Envy sets a 22.4. Goes provisional pole position. Next to cross the line, Sicknick. Well, he starts his final lap.
An entire half a second quicker there, Envy. And yeah, it's just Sicknick who can really take that off. But Big Man Joe comes along the final corner and across the line. He's going to barely make it. He's going to stay second fastest.
27,000. That is close. That is close. RB Farlow, oh no, he has spun on the banking, and that will be his qualifying ending as well. Well, next to come across the line, UK. Now in the middle sector here, just about done with the middle sector. A bit of a squiggle there before the final bend. RB Farlow back in the pits. That will be his day over. UK doesn't seem like he's pushing it any further either.
Yeah, but if anyone's improving that out on track, it's Sicknick. And as I say, he's spun and he's lost possibly his front wing and his shot at starting on the front row. He'll have to settle for third in qualifying. I will be starting on the second row behind.
Purple sector 2 from Ashray Satak. Purple sector 2 from the Red Bull there. And this is looking like a good shot at pole. He was 10 seconds up from his previous best. I don't know how much more can he improve.
Oh, Twitch.
Very big twitch
Bit of a
there.
twitch.
Almost hitting the wall, and oh, okay. Stay speed 10 for now. That'll be his best attempt. Envy, can he better his lap time? No, but gives a good little squiggle across the line. Big Man Joe, he's done his lap. Sicknick has a second chance, started his final lap. Can he start his final lap though? Nah, he lost his wing earlier.
He's done. Yeah,
He's
he
done.
lost his wing earlier. And yeah, that was so unfortunate because he was a 10th up on Sector 1, and if he could get Sector 2 in the bag, who knows, Sector 3 would have gone his way. But again, you can only assume every corner clearly counts. As we saw with Sicknig, he will be starting on second row, but it's Envy, pole position for the nth time in the Bwoah Racing League. I should definitely look at that stat sheet today.
Indeed, about time. He's giving us some heavy reminders out on track to take a look at that stat sheet. And Big Man Joe as well. Probably want to be, considering his tire strategies for the start to jump Envy or to stay behind Envy. 28,000, that was a close qualifying from both of them. What a show. And then the rest of the group pretty close as well. What's going to happen in the race? We're about to find out real soon.
It's been a while since we made any kind of predictions for the race itself, hasn't it, Davin? I think that was a bit of a tradition we let go of this season, wasn't it?
Well, after some backlash from drivers and the alleged jinxing, yeah, I think we could bring it back and give them a taste of our medicine.
And what better race to bring it back when we got UK back in the season to an extent, possibly in the fight for, I don't know, the top 5, you could say. But definitely, I'd like to think UK is going to be looking at the grid and looking at opportunities come his way, as would any driver. But just UK, I think all the fumbles have been made in qualifying, and so has Gouts. So maybe the race is where we'll see the best of the pair.
In 10 seconds, the countdown has started. So, well, that was quite a quick one, and we will be soon having a look at the tire strategies that have been chosen by these drivers. I see mediums, I see hards. Do I see softs? That's the question. I do see a soft tire. That's Gambler all the way at the back of the grid. And that's, Gambler. That's a gamble from him. Top 8, all on the medium tires. Gouts, KDB and Mr. Wex, the only 3 exception in the entire top 13 to run with the hard tires. So long game for them. While Envy and everyone else would like to go somewhat to the middle of the race and hope for an early safety car, if any, and hard tires will serve them well till the end.
So the McLaren team is going on the alternate strategy, and they feel that will work out for them. Clearly, they are looking at the constructors fight more than anything else. They try their best to take both cars to the line, make sure they don't retire early on. KDB's absence clearly proven a hindrance in scoring as much points as they could this season. We've got 36 laps of racing. It's the formation lap of the Dutch GP of Bwoah Racing League Season 6. And Envy is starting on pole ahead of Big Man Joe, who's in the Netherlands as we speak, along with Sicknig as well, who managed to put it in the top 3 in his quote-unquote home race.
Indeed, 2 home drivers in the top 3. It's a good sight to be held. And if only it ends like this. If only a Dutch driver could win the race today and dethrone Envy from winning a race today, that will be wonderful.
Yeah, if only. Who knows? Maybe Envy will, pull off something left field, as he does time and time again. If, he's dealt the wrong cards, he clearly, pushes it up a notch and ensures he gets the win in the bag. We've seen him doing it. We've seen him done it, and will we see him do it again? Is the question.
Yeah, a lot of do's, a lot of what's, a lot of ifs, but all will be answered shortly once the 5 laps are going to go off. 14 drivers are on track. Wonderful to see a grid starting to fill up as the season progresses. Ashray, well, is going to be starting a little bit further in his grid box. Gets a DSQ. Gods gets a DSQ. Not going to be helping his case with the hard tires. but 5 lights are gonna be coming on real soon, and let's see what is gonna happen. 5 lights, where are you? It's quite a wait there. Quite a wait.
A lot of blues on the board. There we have it, folks. F1 2022 for you. But we are still yet to start the race.
Wonderful.
As we wait, it's highly likely we are heading into a new lobby. Or perhaps not, Davin.
No, perhaps not. And 5 lights are coming on. And off they go. And let's see who has a good start. Looks like Envy gets a poor one. And he's dropping down the order already, down to P5. Kubarabi, Big Man Joe swapping positions into turn 1. Big Man Joe takes the lead. And there you go. Both the horses are up into 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah, he was stuck sitting in his grid box for so long there, Envy. I'm surprised how he managed to stay P4, but up ahead, Big Man Joe leads this race ahead of Kubarabi, who came out of absolutely nowhere and is ahead of his teammate right now, up in P2. I'd imagine that was a crazy start from for the horse driver in game. Streeter manages to climb up in a P4, but fumbles by the McLaren drivers as they sit currently P9 and P12 at the back of the order. I'd imagine Dishy at the worst to starts. He's all the way down in P14.
Yeah, and not exactly the way you want to be starting a race. And he's going side by side already with UK. And these guys are not chilling anytime soon. So yeah, the battles are already ensuing. Big Man Joe taking his opportunity up in front. Would you look at that, Sartak? 1.2, 1.3 is the gap. Right now he has pulled off a golden opportunity to pull away. Envy, who's trying to mount a fight back now, immediately on the back of Siknik into turn... not Siknik, that's Siknik's teammate Kubarabi, and into turn 1. Envy looks to dive around the inside, and there's a little bit of contact. Kubarabi hangs it around the outside, keeps his P3 for now, defends his position for his team and for his teammate.
Yeah, team call clearly from the Haas team over there. Siknig and Kubarabi. Kubarabi handing that position back to Siknig after that race start. I think Siknig's on a charge to Big Man Joe. Clearly, he doesn't have the quote-unquote nuisance, you could say, of Envy anywhere close. Kubarabi is going to fend him off and defend as much as he can. We've seen Kubarabi do this on more than one occasion in the Bwoah Racing League. I expect him to do it in full display here around Zandvoort Streeter. I wonder, I imagine he is going to try his best to close in on Envy, because this is the opportunity he can capitalize on. Envy is being fended off by Kubarabi, and as close as he can get, the closer he's probably going to get to make the pass on Kubarabi too.
Yeah, I wonder if Kubarabi will get a bit of DRS assistance from Siknik if they want to play that game. But it looks like on the exit of the banking, Envy carries so much more speed. On the banking, he's already in the slipstream. Once again, this is his second chance to attack. Can he pull alongside? No is the answer. One more lap, Envy has to hold back.
Yeah, meanwhile, the front runners trade fastest laps. But Envy, how close he gets to the gearbox of their horse in Sector 1 is absolutely amazing. So Streeter is a 10th closer, now making it another 10th closer to Envy, so he's catching up. In the midfield, gaps are in fact extending, the biggest one being between Ashray and Dylan Toe. But yeah, they are in the thickest of the mix. A Williams and a McLaren fighting it off with each other. Vex and Gouts, not a rare sight. But yeah, it turns out Gouts has unfortunately disconnected, so let's get him back real quick. I'll do that on my part. Back to the race with you, Davin.
Yeah, still on Envy, on Kubarabi. Oh, it's getting pretty close here, Sartak. Into the end of Sector 2. Envy now with DRS assistance. Does he want to go for the move? No, he's too far behind. Main straight will be his next opportunity to make this overtake on Kubarabi. And he's been hanging on and hanging on. Siknik has been closing in on Big Man Joe as well. So it's starting to converge. Top two are converging. 3 and 4. There might be a change of positions coming soon. Envy gets his DRS this time around. Activates the DRS. Kubarabi now takes the inside line. And it goes even more inside and alongside into turn 1. Comfortably makes it into P3. A hard fought P3 for now. Ashray sets the fastest lap in the meantime, and now Envy has 2-second gap to close up to Siknik and Big Man Joe.
Yeah, that defense coming from Kubarabi opens up a 2-second gap between Siknik and Envy. 2 seconds for Envy to make up, and that much longer for Sicknig to close in on Big Manjo and pick him off before Envy comes breathing down his gearbox. Now, clearly, he's got a seconds gap to Big Manjo, so he's going to have the benefit of DRS on the main straight. I'd imagine Sicknig making Big Manjo's life harder there out on track.
Yeah, it's starting to get interesting now, isn't it? It's always Envy who's leading the race, and he pulls away. This time around, it's Big Manjo's leading, Sicknig in the DRS, and Envy, who might soon just join the DRS train as well. It's going to be a hard-fought three-way battle, and there's yellows in the middle sector, and that's Ashray going around and losing his position, losing his footing, but back on track immediately. Now RB Fellow, he is pretty close. Street is pretty close to Kubarabi as well. Now it's starting to form a three-man fight here. Envy sets the fastest lap, closes up the gap back up to the top two, and looks like there won't be any position changes into turn one. Oh, Kubarabi running a little bit wide there.
Oh, make that streeter just might peak along sector one. He did on Kubarabi, clearly not having the best time out there. He's going to try his best to fend off the rest, but it's going to, it's probably going to be about a brief lap or so before RB Ferro makes that jump. Along with Streeter, there are 2 tenths within each other of Kubarabi as well. So I'd imagine a move coming from the pair soon enough. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, what happened to Ashray after that spin, lost 2 positions, allowing Mr. Wex and KDB to make that jump so close. Streeter's getting Kubarabi even closer than Envy did on Kubarabi.
Yeah, and I wonder if RB Fellow is just waiting for a fumble from the front two to pick them off both at the same time, and it's starting to form a 4-man train. Dylan Toe has joined the train. Now make it a 4-man train for P4, led by Kubarabi himself. Up in front, Sicknig is still within touching distance of Big Manjo, but back to Kubarabi now, second time, third time around. Streeter now has to go for the attack. Kubarabi, can he defend? No, is the answer. Alongside he goes, and RB Fellow, being the sneaky guy he is always, and he looks for an opportunity on the inside, not close enough, and looks like Streeter is already starting to pull a gap.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to the front runners, but this battle, these 4 drivers getting so close, and now
look
down
at
the
that.
inside goes RB Ferrello. Contact as well, but somehow both ensure they remain out on track, and up he goes RB Ferrello ahead of Kubarabi. So it's only Dylan Toe waiting to make that move on Kubarabi.
What a move. What a brilliant move by RB Fellow, taking a wider line before the run up to turn 7, and getting that run and getting that DRS, well, not DRS, getting his battery deployed just to make the move just in time. Kubarabi, it's all turning south within lap, and he's dropping positions like a fly down to P7. Now Dylan Toe gets past that Haas.
India up ahead though. That 2-second gap no longer exists. It's within a second of Sicknig. So the top 3 all within a second of each other, which means DRS for Sicknig and Envy puts Big Manjo in a vulnerable position leading this race. And we're only on lap number 7, folks. And the race is only getting started.
Oh, good time to take a breather here, I guess, before things heat up even more, as we have a 3-way fight for the lead forming already.
Yeah, Envy's probably going to do his best to ensure the ERS recharges. He has a full tank of ERS. Purple sector 1 as well.
RB Fellow is getting close, Artuk. RB Fellow is getting very close to Streeter once again, and looks like once they got past the pair of Dylan Toe and Kubarabi, they are released back into their own battles. RB Fellow seems to be liking that overtaking spot up the hill before turn 7, so we might just see that happen once again. Will Streeter be prepared for that? It's a question, as we have yellow flags in the middle sector. That is Mr. Wex.
Yeah, had a fumble, a spin, front wing looks intact, so he'll resume the race, but he's lost a position, 2 in fact, making it very easy for KDP. Something we missed out on, of course, is soft tires for Gamler, but back to the front runners who are all within a second of each other, and this time around Sicknig comes, he weaves to the left and right, and it's contact.
And that's
front
contact
wing,
indeed.
End plate gone, and Big Manjo will not be happy about that. And Sicknig takes the lead of this race, but at what cost? Envy is probably developing a smirk on his face.
Everyone's lost their wings, Arthur. Sicknig's lost his front end plate. Envy's lost
He's lost it.
Envy's lost an entire wing. Big Man Joe, the luckiest one of them all, has his entire front wing remaining, so he might just get lucky once the front two are back into the pits. But I wonder though, can Streeter close up with this opportunity to sneak up a race win? The position is just there for him for the taking. RB Parallel getting very close. Dylan Toe once again. Oh, side by side they are into turn 8 or 9 that was, and Dylan Toe squeezes his way through past RB Parallel for P5.
It seems like the Alpine pair are at their best around Zandvoort, and I love to see new drivers get into the mix of the top 5. Streeter, we've seen him time and time again in the top 5, but not Dylan Toe. Relatively, this is probably going to be his best performances, but let's not call it too early. And of course, I'm surprised he sent it into a spin and no front wing for him as I say that.
Yeah, Envy and Big Man Joe are now forced into the Big Man Joe, Envy and Sicknick are forced into the pits. Envy speeding in the pits as well, not helping his case. What's happened there? Full safety car? Is that a full safety car? Indeed, it is a full safety car. And wow, okay, suddenly everything has just turned around in a corner or so. What's happening there, Sartre? Give us an update. What's happening out there?
Yeah, I believe that was Dylan Toe's spin that might have just brought out the safety car, as I imagine. No other incident took place in that brief amount of time. So I reckon it was Dylan Toe's spin and a bit of clearly debris out on track. An entire front wing of an Alpine. And yeah, probably shouldn't have jumped the gun there and said that was probably Dylan Toe's best performance, but nevertheless, it's only been 9 laps, and turns out Gouts is having issues that's beyond anyone's control at this point. We tried sending him an invite to jump back in, not happening. He's disconnected. It's ZI out on track and P13. So for the folks watching, welcome to the Bwoah Racing League Season 6 Dutch GP. We're on lap number 9, and Big Man Joe has retaken the race lead.
Yeah, but at what cost? The safety car's out right now. He's in the middle of nowhere here. Can he box for the hearts? He can go till the end, but I don't know. It's a question that he'll have to answer himself. We'll find out probably in about 5 seconds time. Will he pull into the pits? No, he stays out. Streeter jumps the gun though. He goes for the hard tires. He's gonna take the tire to go till the end. RB Fellow is jumping in. Indeed.
Yeah, and Cube Rabi follows too. What will Dishy do? Dishy stays out. That means Dishy gets provisional P2 for now. And yeah, I'm just amazed, even with the tire picks coming from Sicknick and Envy, who pit together for a change of front wing even. Softs on Envy, mediums on Sicknick. Maybe he feels more confident on the mediums.
Oh, yeah, mediums will go the distance, but not till the end. Envy though, I don't know. That soft tire call might have been because he wanted to make up some time on that last lap, but safety car came out right as he was changing his tires, so unlucky for him. He will be hoping for another safety car or two to turn his favor around. As it stands right now, let's just bring up the tire details here. Top 3 as you have it: Big Man Joe, Dishy and KDB, a name that we haven't seen in the top 3 for a while, all on 0 stops. No stops made from them. KDB on the hard tires. This is looking prime for him to jump some positions on the restart.
Yeah, but clearly Streeter at an opportunistic position, and RB Ferrello even at start he can make that pass on Streeter. He'll have that window of opportunity, I'd say, with those fresh set of sauce at safety car restart, and so will Envy, I'd imagine, but it would have aged perhaps 2 laps, and we know these softs to be not the greatest of tires out on track in this particular game. But we got 26 laps of racing, folks. We've had 0 retirements, and I absolutely love the fact that we've had 0 retirements. But after a brief incident involving Sicknick, Big Man Joe and Envy, and a frenzy of a incident as it was, and another incident in the likes of Dylan Toe losing his front wing after spinning by himself, bringing out the safety car. We are on lap number 11 on the safety car. We might just see quite the safety car restart.
Yeah, it's all starting to cool down a little bit as the drivers are bunching up once again. 2 more drivers left to bunch up, and that being Gambler and UK. UK is always, I'm pretty sure he has some very unique strategies, let's put it that way, to serve the mandatory pit stop, and then just gonna preferred tire of choice for the rest of the race. And he's already done 3 stops, 2 more than most of the drivers out on track. So that's clearly working in his favor right now, as he's down in P14.
Yeah, I wonder how Envy might just be feeling. He's the only driver out on track with the oldest sauce, of course, as well as a penalty to his name, and whether that'll stand, of course, will be deliberated by you, the steward, post race. But then again, and that giggle should say a lot about how Davin enjoys being the steward. But safety car in this lap.
Oh, that's not good news for UK. That's not a good news for UK, who's about half a lap behind the queue, and well, definitely did not pay off his strategy of going really wally with the pit strategies. RB Fellow on the soft tires might just have the best lap of his life to jump into P1. 3 drivers out up in front on all the hard and medium tires, straight up in front of him on, well, fresh hard tires. So RB Fellow, oh, Big Man Joe, no! Big Man Joe is spun on the restart, and that means Dishy will be leading the race. KDB gets an opportunity, goes around the outside, no space for him just yet. Streeter and RB Fellow, what's happened there? They are still catching up.
Yeah, entire front wing gone for Big Manjo. Finds himself all the way down in P13, heads into the pits. That's a fight in the midfield between an Alpine and a Williams, between Dylan Toe and Mr. Wex. But up in front, Dishy leads for the first time in the Bwoah Racing League. But here comes Streeter on RB Ferrello. No, it's the other way around. It's the man on the sauce. But for how long can he keep going, RB Ferrello? He's up in a P3 and he's got KDB in sights.
Yeah, running up the hill to turn 7. Looks like that is his favorite overtaking spot. Catches a lot of drivers off guard, and he made that count. Mr. Wex and Dylan Toe now swapping positions as well, down in P8 and 9, and they're still going side by side. Ashray around the outside. Now he's gonna get pushed off a little bit. Still side by side into the final sector here. Who's gonna be braver on the brakes? Looks like Ashray, ooh, jumps the curb and violently hits the curb, and that is Dylan Toe hitting the wall and losing a portion of his front wing. RB Ferrello.
2 positions while you're at it. But yeah, RB Ferrello back on the main straight, closing in on that McLaren ERS being deployed. And down the inside, this should be the easiest pass he's made in a long time, RB Ferrello, given his advantage on the south. But here comes KDB. Hards has to concede the position. So it's a Alpha Tauri 1-2. Davin, would you have imagined an Alpha Tauri 1-2 around this track?
Not 13 laps ago, Sarthak, but it's just starting to look like it's a thing that might happen, now. But yeah, a lot of action still going on, Sarthak. My eyes are now on Signic, who's under attack from Envy. Signic is now attacking Streeters, so it's a 3-way battle once again. Envy on the soft tires has to make up positions. RB Fellow up in front is already making up some positions. Envy tries to go on an alternate line. Oh, almost there, Envy. Very close there, but Signic gets the better line on the exit.
Yeah, peeks down the inside, and that is top 6 all within a second of each other. Could have been team call up in front as RB Ferrello takes the lead of this race on softs. Dishy is now currently running P2. A fumble by Envy puts him back a couple tenths behind Signic once again. But on the main straight, it's all to play for. These top 6 drivers are all within a second of each other, and seemingly it's Signic with the shortest gap. DRS enabled, but no one's gonna dive down the inside. They're gonna hold positions for now.
Yeah, they will hold off, and exactly that is the job for Dishy right now, who made the team game and let RB Fellow through. Oh, KDB getting pretty close there on the run up into turn 4-5 here, but not close enough. RB Fellow is already pulling off the gap that he needs, the buffer that he might need if there's another safety car to come on in the next 5 or 6 laps. So well done to AlphaTauri preserving their 1-2, but for how long? And a few more cars. Envy, Signic, and Streeter. It's still going side by side here, almost there, getting pretty close. Envy losing his back end once again in the same corner twice across 2 laps, and not gonna get the best of exits here. Oh no, but
Okay, DRS enabled opportunity. Sicknig around the outside. Envy tried his best, but it seems like Sicknig down the inside through the chicane should have that move done. And Envy's peeking down the inside of the Alpine now, getting in the mix of the fight. Up ahead, RB Ferrello holds firm as they come across the banking. It's Envy, switcheroo, down the inside of the Haas. Up in a P5 he goes.
yeah, soft tire is definitely giving him the advantage that he needs. And one more position might just come. Will he launch down into turn 1? No, it's Signe who tries to launch around the outside into turn 1. Does not get the move done just enough.
Positions being swapped all across the top 8 now, all within a second of each other, barring the top 3, of course, within a second of each
Envy's
other.
on the
As I say
grass.
that, Aston Martin and Alpine get real close to each other, level pegging.
Yeah.
Through sector 1 they go, but it's Envy who makes that jump, or not Sicknig, but Streeter too.
What's happened to Big Man Joe? All the way at the back at the banking. He spun once again. Yeah, back to Envy though. He spotted the opportunity, had to go on the grass to make the overtake, and
Streeter?
he made it work. Streeter, what's happened to Streeter there? He is falling down the order a little bit. The hard tire is not working for him just yet. He's still hanging on for his dear life.
Yeah, and the battles continue as you'd imagine. KDB closing in on Dishy. Clearly, Dishy's left in a position to fend off the rest of the pack, as did Kuberabi early into this race, who now finds himself down P8. On the main straight, they're trying to throw dummies at each other into the pits, but they all stay out on track. Within a second of the McLaren, his Envy comes as close as he can get to that McLaren and almost bumps into the rear of KDB, but he's going to hold position waiting for a fumble from KDB.
It's all battles all around the track, different tires, different strategies, all playing now. We're almost halfway into the race, 16 laps in. We still have 21 laps to go, including this, and we are not done just yet. Ashray there goes side by side with Kuberabi into turn 7, turn 8. No, Kuberabi gets the outside line, carries the momentum through, and keeps his P7 for now. There's a swap.
Dishy spun, he's managed to spin and he tumbles down the order. His effort to fend off the rest of the pack, he goes in when and Ashray goes into a spin as well, while Dishy was trying to
Envy and
join the
KDB,
track.
Sarthak, Envy and KDB, this is a classic here, two heavyweights, and Envy gets pushed a little bit wide there on the apex, and Sicknick spots an opportunity to overtake his old teammate here down into the last corner. Oh, a little bit of a tap there from Sicknick, and KDB sent onto the curb. KDB goes around, Sicknick takes the P2, straight up to P3, but no, here comes Kuberabi as well. Everyone is spotting an opportunity, and suddenly we have a flurry of position changes. Envy into the pits to serve his 5 second and get rid of the soft tires.
Yeah, it was almost 3 abreast around the banking with the Haas getting into the mix, but Envy headed into the pits. Streeter somehow manages to clench back the final podium position for now. Kuberabi up in a P4. He was P8 a lap ago, wasn't he, Dalvin?
How things change just within a lap always amazes me, Sarthak. And yeah, well, hope he gets some good luck in a lap or two time, because he will need that to recover his positions. Now,
surely enough. Yeah, RB Ferrero, 7-lap-old softs, continues to lead the race ahead of Sicknig, Streeter, Kuberabi, and Dishy and Vex. But in the midfield, it's Ashray and KDB now fighting it out. No, it's UK and KDB, two good friends, find themselves wheel to wheel. Who will be in the lead? Sector 2, out Sector 2, it's the Williams of UK up into the lead between the pair, up in a P8. I believe KDB might just be heading into the pits, I'd imagine.
possibly so. Hard tires though, but he could still go a long way into this race. Possibly another 10 laps if he wants to. And UK now on the soft tires makes the best of it up into P8. Sarthak, quick position updates. Dishy now finally goes into the pits. And KDB pulled off a little dummy there on me. And that's not the first time he pulled a dummy on me. And well, he keeps his P8 for now. RB Fellow will have to stop again. Signe will have to stop again. So does Kuberabi and Streeter, who are out in front. So their tires are not going to last. Top 8. I don't know. Everyone has to pit. So it's not decisive just yet. Who could win? Who could lose this? It's still halfway to go, Sarthak.
Yeah, we've officially reached the halfway mark of the race. Some would say about time. But yeah, fresh said it's also that for Dishy there, who just pit. And I'd imagine RB Ferrello is soon not going to be soon not going to feel the best out on track on those 8-lap-old softs. Sicknig, he's got a seconds gap, and that's trickling down to below a second. So he's going to have the 8 of DRS on the main straight. He's on the mediums, 9-lap-old mediums, and I'd imagine that's a race lead in sights for the man in the Haas.
Yeah, probably in a lap or so, RB Fellow might be doing his best to probably hold off the rest of the pack. Ashtray, what's happened there? He's gone around on the banking, and that lets UK and KDB through for up into P6 and 7 respectively. KDB,
yeah, this is...
oh, another 5 second picked up by KDB there for spinning into the pit lane. Not gonna help his case.
Yeah, Ashray's third spin in the race, but this time it was the costliest no front wing and heads into the pits for a front wing as well. Up in front, however, Sicknig, half a second within RB Ferrello, our current race leader. Sector 1 lights up yellow. Those are the McLarens, and I'd reckon...
That was Envy, Sarthak. It was Envy, and getting a little bit close there. Dylan Toe and Envy there getting some action into turn 1. Envy still within touching distance on the hard tires now. He will have to go on the attack till the end of the race. So he's effectively going till the end here, while the top 8 are still yet to make a second pit stop, or even their first to go till the end. KDB and Gouts, well, KDB is just fighting a bot here. Goes up to P11. Up in front, Sarthak, we might have a change of lead here. Looks like Sicknig is on the attack into turn 1. RP Fellow is ready defending around the outside. A little bit of contact side by side. Side pods are barging into each other. Still side by side ish into turn 3, and Sicknig with that fresher ish medium tires against those old softs takes the lead of the race once again.
RB Ferrello didn't defend too hard there. I think he's just going to be along for the ride this lap and then head into the pits soon. But in the midfield, it's UK into the pits, but a bit of a frenzy by the looks of it as Sector 3 lights up yellow for a brief time. That's Dishy ahead of Dylan Toe. Once again, it's the soft runners fighting it out in Sector 1.
Yeah, and that has opened up the space for Envy to go through up into P7. So picked off 2 drivers at one go. And very opportunistic there as well from him. RB Fellow, like you said, very smart to not to fight the position, knowing that he will be losing that eventually. I wonder if he's going to pull into the pits. He still has DRS on Sicknig, but what is he waiting for? Is he waiting for a puncture? Are you waiting for a safety car? RB Fellow stays out for another lap. Interesting there.
Yeah, but back to his teammate in the midfield, Dishy. Clearly the Ghost car gambler, he might have just disconnected. I was about to say he's had a good run out on track, but clearly with the AI out on track, the result will not count. RB Ferrello's gap to the race leader has gone over a second now, but back on the main straight, Dishy within a second of Envy. He's not going to be able to make a pass, but he's going to try his best to get as close as possible to the Aston Martin. Come next lap, he's going to try and mount a move.
As it stands, Streeter and Kuberabi have the best chance of finishing the race in the top 2 as their hard tires could go till the end. Everyone else in front and behind them will have to make a stop. So Streeter and Kuberabi play this smart, they might just win the race. Sicknig and RB Fellow will have to bank on fresher tires towards the end or a safety car to bail them out. And I'm guessing that's what both of them are waiting for. Streeter, well, he keeps his distance. 1 second only behind RB Fellow, and that's 2.5 seconds behind the lead. Keeps him in a very good position. Kuberabi not too far off, 3 seconds behind Mr. Wax. A second behind on 20 lap all hard tires. Still yet to make his first pit stop. RB Fellow is finally into the pits, has had enough of those soft tires. Had a great stint there. I'm pretty sure he loved that. And we will be seeing a bit more from him. He'll be coming on in clearer in P5. And he will go on the attack. Oh, that's a yellow flag in Sector 2. And that is Big Man Joe passing by someone. Who was that?
Ashtray is retired. He's retired from the session. That's a DNF. That's a full course yellow. And I'd imagine a safety car.
Oh.
Who needed the safety car to capitalize on this race?
It was Sicknig and RB Ferrello. But half a lap too late or too early, RB Ferrello pitted. And oh my goodness. And suddenly everything just tumbled over itself. Sicknig, who is probably the first one to come across the line. No, that's Big Man Joe who's on the back straight, on the pit straight now. Safety car is in the middle sector, waiting to catch up to the leader. Oh, Big Man Joe no gets a drive through for speeding under safety car. Oh, that is not gonna help his case. Siknik here, as we can see, and in the chicane in sector 3 before the banking of the back straight. What is he gonna stay out? Is he gonna go into the pits? I'm pretty sure he's gonna go into the pits here.
Yeah, time for a bit of a refresher, perhaps, of the positions, as we see Sticknig perhaps indeed heading into the pits. Streeter follows suit. Kuberabi, Sticknig's teammate, follows suit as well. Wex to follow. So it's RB Ferrello back in the race lead.
I won't be so sure about that if the Delta is still running, but looks like he might just squeeze through. Haas are gonna double stack RB Fellow. We have our eyes on you. Into turn 1. He can.
Close.
Can he get it though? It's pretty close.
So close.
Oh,
So close.
so close. That's gonna be P2 for him.
Is
that gonna be P2? It is gonna be P2, and it's back into the same order as we had right before the safety car. So lucky for him, he did not lose any positions, but he would have loved if the safety car didn't come out. He would have had an amazing undercut on Siknik right there. Kuberabi, who had to double stack with his teammate, now comes out in P6 ahead of UK, who is, well, finally back in the queue after a abysmal safety car on the previous one. So he will be hoping to not repeat the same mistake.
From where we are sitting, and Davin will agree with me on this, this has been a spectacular race, and we've still got about 13 laps, am I right? Yeah, 13 laps left in this race, and yeah, it's been an absolute treat. 9 folks watching, make sure you drop in the chat. Who do you think is gonna come out on top at the end of the safety car restart, even, because this race is turning out to be unpredictable lap after lap.
Fresh mediums for RB Fellow and Street in P2 and 3. 6 lap all hard tires for Envy in P4. Fresh hards for Siknik in the lead. Mr. Wex and Kuberabi in 5 and 6 with fresh mediums. So it's not over just yet. It's gonna be some tire strategies going on here. Who's gonna be able to keep some tire life in the car for 13 more laps? Who's gonna be able to pull off the gap if they need on the restart here? Big Banjo, who was a contender for the race win, suddenly finds himself all the way at the back after fumbling the last safety car restart. Let's hope the leader this time around, Siknik, doesn't fumble. Others will be having a little bit of a deja vu and a headache after the race.
Yeah, sure enough. So unfortunate for Gouts, however, still unable to hop back in. And same goes with Gambler, I'd imagine. But Siknik leads this race ahead of RB Ferrell and Streeter. Top 3 currently. And Big Man Joe, who was leading this race at one point in time, playing catch up at the very back of the pack. He's going to have the McLarens in sights.
It's a Dutch sandwich, one would say. P1 to P13. And everyone in between is just fighting for those positions. Can we get a Dutch winner today, or at least on the podium? Envy will be looking very close on the top 3 and possibly to take away the win and add 1 more to his tally, and to remind us to check the stats sheet after the race as well. I guess safety car will be in this lap and he will be back on action.
Yeah, Siknik safety car restarts. Has Siknik had a safety car restart till date this season? I don't think so. I don't recall as much. Do you? Any chance, Damon?
Well, I can't recall, so this might be his first. Let's make it the best as he could, because that's a race win up for the taking here, and he's had pretty bad luck in some of the races, and spoken to him a few times. He knows what he needs to do in the race to get a good result, get a win, and this might be his first and only chance in this race to make amends on the safety car restart. When will he pull away? Still waving, waiting for his time. Arifeldo like a hawk, so patient. Street on the back as well, and there you go. Oh, not yet. And there you go. Okay, finally Siknik takes a launch, and already alongside Arifeldo is Streeter into turn 1.
Contact.
Into turn 1, Streeter goes up to P2. Arifeldo losing the position, and we challenging for that P3 as well. And at the back of the grid, KDB starts to make a few more positions up. Dishi and Gambler going side by side as well. Dishi goes up into P8. Dylan Toe goes up and Gambler loses another position. KDB now up into P10.
But back it up in front, Envy does not want to remain behind RB Ferrello. Street, a bold move. Contact between the AlphaTauri and Alpine. So I don't think RB Ferrello will be happy about that move. But regardless, as it stands, Sicknig is holding on to that race lead with 3 drivers anxious to pick it off him. Envy has a fumble, cost him 2/10 behind RB Ferrello. He's the only medium runner between he's the only hard runner between 4 medium runners. So it'll be interesting to see how long he can hold on to P4 or even make the move on RB Ferrello.
Yeah, patience might be the name of the game here, as he will need to wait for DRS. But if he could move, running very wide on the curb, they're lucky not to spin. And yeah, back to Envy, he might just have to wait for DRS to be activated. 5/10 of a gap without DRS is almost impossible to make a move on the pit straight. But there we can see in the background Dishi almost making a move, but pulls back into the race line no, he's not pulling back into the race line. He's going for the attack on UK here. Now into this small banking before the run up to turn 7. Gets a wider exit and then a better exit as well. He might not go for the move.
Yeah, up ahead within a second of each other, make that top 11 drivers all within a second of each other. And closest gap, of course, is that front running position between Streeter and RB Ferrello. Envy close as well. And as you could imagine, this is a DRS train yet to be formed, but it's UK tumbling down the order. And what's happened there? Sector 2 lights up yellow. I'm trying to get a glimpse of his front wing, all intact, so not too much. That spin has cost him this time around.
Yeah, Dylan Toe and KDB going side by side into the chicane as well. KDB gets the better of it and up into P8 he goes. So one more position gain from him. Medium tires making good use of it now to gain some more positions. Lap number 26 has been completed. Lap 27, Sicknig still leads the race. Everyone in the top 10 within a second of each other. Sartek, this is a unexpected DRS train in Zandvoort.
Dylan, in his attempt to make the pass on KDB, I believe there was contact between the McLaren and Alpine, and he sent himself into a spin and hits the wall, but somehow the front wing is intact. No end plate, however, so I'd imagine he's heading into the pits. Something we missed, Big Man Joe headed into the pits as well. Unusual since he was on 4-lap old medians, but then again might have been an issue with his front wing. Back to the front, Envy. Hard tires not stopping him one bit. He is within a 10th. Make that 2/10 now of RB Ferrello.
Yeah, but he loses his back end once again in the same corner. That's the 3rd time I've seen him doing that. So that's possibly a setup issue there, or just getting a little bit anxious in the dirty air of the driver in front, and that's costing him the dear 2/10 that he needs to be close into the chicane. Once again into the end of lap 27, top 4 drivers have now pulled away in their own pack, trying to make a move on each other. Sicknig already starting to break the toe, and now into turn 1 he will still keep the lead, but Streeter is having an eye. Streeter is getting ever so close as well. RB Ferrello now on the back of them as well. Envy as well. Everyone's just so close to each other. Sicknig on the hard tires is definitely holding up the pack a little bit more than he wanted.
Yeah, as you'd expect on lap number 28, the race goes on. In the midfield, however, Dishi now 3/10 to Cuba Rabi. So while one AlphaTauri is trying to make the charge on an Alpine and a Haas, in the midfield, it's another AlphaTauri going up against another Haas. And yeah, Cuba Rabi clearly left to fend off Dishi at this point, seemingly losing traction out of a particular corner before in sector 1. But yeah, Dishi as close as he can get on the gearbox. I'd imagine the chicanes are part of the track. He can possibly make a move.
Oh well, it is Zandvoort after all, so there aren't many places that you can make a move. Big Man Joe has a bit more trouble in the middle sector there, so he will get going once again. But we have possibly a change of lead coming very shortly, and this is Streeter attacking Sicknig and Envy attacking RB Ferrello. Is this a double swap coming up in front for us? No, it's not, but it's down the grid. Dishi gets up into P6, overtakes Kubera before, well, the P6.
As you'd imagine, back to the front, however, that is the shortest gap between drivers right now. A DRS train up in front of Mr. Wex and a DRS train right behind Mr. Wex. So Mr. Wex is probably the focal point of this race, you could say, as Dylan Toe heads into the pits, who's currently running P12.
Yeah, a little bit of detail to notice. They're starting in the top 4. Streeter and Envy have the most amount of battery available for their attack and defense, which leaves Signing and RB Fellow very vulnerable. And that is RB Fellow sent into a spin by none other than Envy himself. RB Fellow will not be happy with that. Envy will be possibly looking at a penalty post race. And that leaves Streeter in the clear for the running for the win to fight it out with Signic up in front. 3 tenths, 4 tenths the gap now into the last 2 corners here. Streeter getting, well, not impatient, but he might want to get the move on very soon, as his medium tires might be losing life against the hards in a couple of laps.
Okay, Dishy on Mr. Wex now. AlphaTauri advantage alongside level pegging even before the center part of the race, or even before into turn 1 center part of the main straight, of course. But then again, here comes Mr. Wex. He's not giving up without a fight, but he has to concede the position nonetheless. He has to sell for P5. Dishy up to P4.
Beautiful move there by Dishy himself, and now he is clear. Having some clear at 2 seconds is the gap to Envy, and his medium tires might just be faster than Envy's hards, who is starting to catch up to the top 2 once again. So it is starting to bunch up. Once again, Signic doing his best to stay out and hang out for his DLF on the hard tires here, while Streeter is struggling to get a move on with the softer medium tires here.
You're just going back to the back of the pack. Gouts, Gambler, Big Man Joe and Dylan not having the best of outings. Gambler 20 laps on the hards. I'd imagine that still is AI, but down in the midfield, KDB now 3 tenths to Kuberabi. We've seen Kuberabi been picked off by driver after driver after driver, but somehow Kuberabi manages to make a bunch of positions up the order. I'm pretty sure he'd be wanting to do the same now, but seems like that's not the case for him. Envy says the fastest lap, and KDB gets ever so closer.
Oh, UK is going for a move here. UK is going for a move here for P8 on RB Fellow around the outside. UK breaks later. RB Fellow tries to dive it on the inside. No, he can't defend the position. Costly spin. That might have been with Envy. And clearly, RB Fellow is not having a good time ever since that happened.
Yeah, you can see the gaps going beyond a second's time. And back to the midfield, however, KDB on Kuberabi.
Pretty close here, pretty close in the sector 2. One error from Kuberabi might just give the opportunity for KDB, who might just see it coming very soon into the middle sector DRS straight here. There's a yellow flag on the pit straight, and that is Dylan Toe is out. Is that going to be a safety car or VSC? It is. Yep. It is a full safety car. Holy moly! Wow.
My word. It's almost a tradition at this point in Bwoah Racing League that the last couple of laps have to be a sprint in its own right. I imagine all drivers heading into the pits, but then again, who
oh no, that's something wrong with Streeter. He collided into the back of Signic, was it? And he's lost his entire car. Signic speeds into the pit lane. Wex stays out.
On the main straight.
Kuberabi stays out. KDB stays out. And suddenly we have the bottom half of the grid in the top half. Oi, oi, oi. Okay.
Out of the last 4 races, this is probably Streeter's 3rd retirement. And on the main straight, the way it went, when he was possibly in a position for the fight for the win at the very least in the last 2 laps. He retires from the Dutch GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 6. And Wex, Mr. Wex, leads this race today on lap number 32 ahead of Kuberabi, Davin, and KDB.
Oh, well.
UK in P4, RB Ferrero in P5.
We could not have seen this coming 32 laps ago, Sarthak. And
there's not a chance. There's not
a chance at all. 11 drivers left. All out on track. Still a chance for someone, or two or three people even, whoever's on the soft tires, Signic, Dishy, Envy, to make up some last minute positions on the final 3 or 4 laps of this race. We are about to end lap 32. Safety car will be going around for one more lap, I assume, and we will have at least 2 to 3 laps of racing. Another sprint finish.
Yeah, safety car restart is going to be interesting, to say the very least. Bwoah Racing, KDB, Mr. Wex, all 3 on the same set of tires. In terms of tire life at least. And UK, 12 lap old hards. RB Ferrell's in there with the top 3 in terms of tire life. And we got 3 soft runners, 2 Alpha Tauris and a Haas, eager to pick the top 5 one by one. They were in the top 3 for the longest time. RB Ferrell, Sicknick and Dishy in this race. And Envy is in the mix as well. Gouts has disconnected, unfortunately, so consider it a retirement. Gambler as well. And Big Man Joe all the way at the back picks up yet another time penalty. Not the greatest of sights for him, but for context, Dalvin, the man leading this race currently, is the longest running driver in Bwoah Racing League without a win.
Oh, such a Hulkenberg of a stat there, Sartak. And he will be amazed. He will be loving this win right here. And all he has to do is keep it together for 2 more laps. 3 more laps if the safety car goes in at the end of this lap. And he will be lucky. Well, I wouldn't say lucky. He has done everything right so far to get a chance at this win. Bwoah Racing himself as well started in a very good position, dropped off in the first stint, had an even worse middle session here, and now all of a sudden he finds himself equally in the chance to win the race or steal a podium at the end of the day. KDB P3, I'd say that's a pretty good one for him. Sicknick and Dishy and Envy, who, well, we had some high hopes from. They'll be looking to make up these last minute positions to recover some dignity, if anything. 3 laps to go, Sartek. Safety car still out there.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible last couple of laps. Surely enough, the safety car will go in at the end of this lap that's starting as we speak. So we're going to get 2 laps of racing, folks, with Vex leading this race ahead of Bwoah Racing, KDB, UK, RB Ferrell, Sicknick, Dishy, Envy, and Big Man Joe, because Godson Gambler has disconnected indeed. So we've got 9 drivers left in this race and all to play for in the last couple of laps. My oh my, I can't wait to see what these last 2 laps are gonna be. We got Rusty Nish, an old driver in the Bwoah Racing League, coming back to watch. We got 13 folks watching. Make sure you drop in the chat any kind of predictions, because anything can happen in this race, as we've seen in the last 34 laps. So go wild, go left field, and drop those predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Because David and I have had an absolute treat in the comms box watching this race. And these last 2 laps are going to be just as much of a treat as this entire race was.
2 laps to go. Safety car will be in this lap indefinitely. And we will have 2 cracking laps. Sicknick's, his first victim might be RB Ferrello, followed by UK and then top 3. Can he make up the positions and pull a 5-second gap for his trouble? Or will he fall to that time penalty? Safety car is in this lap. Race control has called it in. Mr. Wax will be leading this safety car restart. 3rd safety car of the race. No more after this. 3rd driver to 3 different drivers. 3rd different one to restart the safety car. How fast will he go? 2 laps to go. This is interesting now.
Safety car restart. Pace being dictated by Mr. Wex. I'm out of breath to an extent, Darren. I'd imagine it's the same case with you, but UK is there with hard tires. KDB is right up there. Bwoah Racing as well. Gets onto the grass, Mr. Wex. Very vexed of him. And when will he take
He's waiting. And there you go. He goes. And immediately Sicknick is already jumping Dishy there for P6. Envy, very tight into turn 1. Doesn't want to hurt his front wing anymore. Stays in P6, P7 now. P8 he is.
Yeah,
Oh.
Dishy, contact between the two and into a spin, and the penultimate lap goes the AlphaTauri and Haas, who are leading this race at one point in time. And in the midfield, it's KDB tumbling down the order. It's a McLaren gone wrong, so it's not just Gauts, it's KDB now getting the short end of the stick in this race. Kubarabi remains P2. Mr. Wax continues to lead this race. UK up in a P3, Davin, would you look at that?
Yeah, and hot behind his tail is RB Fellow on the soft tires, so it's not over just yet. It's all kicking off in a lap and a half to go. So Mr. Wax now to defend for his race win. Kubarabi on his tail, UK far behind, but RB Fellow very quick to get close to him. Oh, RB Fellow's on the mediums, surprisingly.
Yeah, seemingly UK might just be having issues there, but regardless, he remains P3. Big Man Joe has come back into the top 5. How this might go in his way or perhaps not. ERS being deployed. He's got an AlphaTauri in sight who weaves to the right hand side of the track. But Big Man Joe tries to go level pegging into turn 1. Side by side go Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri as the Alfa Romeo on the softs who goes up in a P4.
Beautiful move around the outside with that extra grip. Now up into P4. The race for the victory is still not over though, Sarthak, as up the hill into turn 7 goes Kubarabi, deploying all the reserves of the battery that he has. Mr. Wax under so much pressure for his first ever win in Bwoah Racing League in 6 seasons. 6 long seasons, and he can just see it coming a few more corners. Can he hold on as Kubarabi is hunting him down corner after corner?
Yeah, impressive, and we've still got a 2 sectors to go. Kubarabi, he is desperate at this point, as you would imagine him to be. He can see that win in sight. He can see the race lead in sight. He's got sector 3, the banking right before the finish insights, but across the final corner the gap is just too big, and evidently so it is the winners club of Bwoah Racing League which will say bonjour Mr. Wax as he wins the Dutch GP of season 6 in Bwoah Racing League. For the first time he's a race winner.
What a race indeed for the Williams driver there, Mr. Wax. Congratulations, and as you've said, Sarthak, welcome to the Winners Club. What a performance. Driver of the day as well. Definitely the best race of his season. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be shouting in the VC. We might have to mute him for talking too loud, but you know, celebrations. Williams on the podium, on the top step of the podium. There you go, bring your wheel onto the racing podium and celebrate with all your heart. Top 3 goes to 2 pair of Williams. A pair of Williams there. UK taking home that P3 after Big Man Joe's penalty, dropping him down the order. Must have been Williams' best race ever.
Impeccable. I'm at a loss for words. The backdrop of Vex winning this race, I did see one of the drivers tumbling down the order, might have just been Big Man Joe, retired right before the line, I believe, on the right hand side of the track. I could be wrong, but however, I did see a car. Just wanted to mention it. But yeah, Vex, Kubarabi and UK. Vex and Kubarabi used to be teammates last season, I believe, or the season before that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, fastest lap goes to Envy regardless. Would you look at that?
Well, always Envy somewhere, somehow. But, you know, like we predicted, it's not Envy who won the race today. It's not a Dutch driver who won the race either. It's Mr. Wax. Well, wouldn't have guessed it 36 laps ago, but here we are. 2 Williams on the podium, P1 and P3. It would have been so nice to see Sicknick or Big Man Joe up in front in the podium positions, but unfortunately races do go south sometimes, and there you go, a race we had in a long time, and it's, you know, been really interesting, really fun to watch, really fun to commentate as well alongside you, Sarthak.
Yeah, a treat as always, Dalvin, and I think we can wrap it up there as we'll be back again next weekend, folks, as I believe we're heading to fabulous Italy, Monza, isn't it, Dalvin?
Indeed, the home of Ferrari disappointment, as we like to say it. Or we might just have a Ferrari supremacy if Derp ever returns for a race, and he might just be challenging for the race win over there. Let's hope he's back. Let's hope we have a lot more drivers like today turning up. Monza is going to be top speed only. No wings needed there. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. Cheers, folks. Cheers, Davin.